you think I did that? It was nice. Thank you. Right, what we're doing now. This is an interesting story. A very interesting story. What do we need to do for our NHS to make it successful and sustainable in the future? Because we all use the NHS, don't we, Leah?
We do indeed.
We all use it. According to NHS leaders, the government needs to be open and honest with the public about the need for change, and it also needs to address the issues of funding in social care. Well, NHS leaders have been responding to a survey commissioned by the NHS Confederation, which represents 500 member organisations, and the Confederation is holding its annual conference today. Well, Dr. Johnny Marshall is the Director of Policy at the NHS Confederation and joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Graham.
We hear lots of stories that basically the NHS doesn't have enough money. As it stands at the moment, could it survive with its current levels of funding?
Well, we know that things are pretty tough at the moment. There's an increasing ageing population, more people, more treatments available, and there's a tough economic climate. So, yeah, money's pretty tight, but then it always has been within the NHS. And I think the job that we have within the NHS is deliver the very best value from the money the politicians decide to allocate to it. And that's what we're going to be talking about at the conference over the next couple of days.
And obviously, in terms of the cuts to council social care, are they having an impact on the NHS?
Yeah, it's having a significant impact. We've surveyed our members, who are organisations throughout the NHS, and over sort of 300 leaders have said the reduction in social care is having a knock-on effect on patients in NHS organisations. And that's because if you're not supporting people at home, looking after them appropriately at home, then they end up in the wrong place. They end up in hospital when they don't need to be there, which is not great for them, and it's more expensive for the NHS.
All right, okay. Now this plan in Greater Manchester that they're going to be in charge of everything. There's going to be a mayor in charge of spending the lot, including money for the NHS. Now, is that going to work, do you think?
Well, I think we're all looking to Manchester to see how you can make it work. I think the things that are really interesting is this sense of trying to work together much more closely between health and social care, recognising that people don't distinguish between the two things. What's important to them is important to them, and we need to understand how we can do that more effectively. What we need to do at a Greater Manchester level, what we need to do at local levels and individual patient professional levels. I think that's what Manchester needs to sort of test for us.
And are there any obvious things in the NHS? Any elephants in the room, so to speak, that it's obvious if this is got rid of or things are cut, it would save money?
Well, definitely there are some things that we need to look at very closely. So the NHS is a huge organisation, and actually potentially we have a better bargaining power perhaps of buying some supplies, like simple things like gloves. Maybe if we work together more as NHS organisations, we could get a better deal for the NHS. So those are some of the things we're going to be looking at to try and deliver better value from NHS resources.
Because, you know, a lot of people go, how many middle managers are there in the NHS? Surely they could go, but if they go, who's going to manage them?
Well, managers have a critical role to play in supporting clinicians and developing services, and in fact half of the managers in our NHS have a clinical background, so there's not really so much of a differentiation between them. The NHS only spends 3 pence of every pound on NHS managers, so it's already pretty lean. The important thing is we're allowing them to get on with that at a local level, supported by politicians at a national level. That's the sort of balance we need to get right.
Okay. Dr. Johnny Marshall, thank you for joining us this morning. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Dr. Johnny Marshall, Director of Policy at the NHS Federation. Now, your names of business names. Who's this coming from? Alice. Is this Alice? Yes, Alice has emailed me. Ample Bosoms is a rural online business in Yorkshire selling larger size ladies' lingerie. That's all right. If you're after a big bra, go to Ample Bosoms. That's what you need to go to. Who else here? We've done this before, a roadside doner kebab trailer called Jason Donovan.